without further ado, check out my fully finished object. You guys, look. Hi, I'm Sharon, and welcome to episode 21 of the Sampler Style Floss Tube. Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 21. As you can see, we are in a different location today. My attic is far too hot to record in, so we are down here in my dining room. Welcome to my dining room. And I have a lot to show you today, so let's get right to it. So I have a fully finished object to show you, very exciting. I have some really cool whips to show you. I have a new start. I have an update on the app Markup RXP. It's amazing. I have plans for my summer stitching that I'm going to show you. I have a tiny bit of haul, and I'll answer some questions at the end. I have just a couple. Okay. First is my framed and finished piece. This piece was framed by Paige. Hi, Paige, if you're watching. Paige, the framer. And I think I have her information down below in case you are interested in having her do a finish for you. She's so amazing. So I stitched this in 2020, hence the date. I think I finished it in 2021, maybe 2022. I don't care. I left the date. This marks my love of cross stitch. The time that I fell in love with it, like so many of us did in 2020 when we were home with nothing to do. Listen, I had plenty to do. I'm a one-woman show. I run a very small yarn dyeing business. It's very small. Thank goodness, because if it was any bigger, it would be horrible because it's just me. So I work on it. It's perfect. I love it. It's the perfect amount of time, but it keeps me busy. So, and I also am I would say, prolific knitter and yarn crafter. I mean, I knit and crochet. I do all the things. If you are interested in what I've been knitting and crocheting, I have a separate knitting channel. It's called Knit Style. Big surprise. If you're interested, you can check it out. I think I have a link down below. Anyway, without further ado, check out my fully finished object. You guys, look. This project is The Hound and the Hare by Jacob, Modern Folk Embroidery. I was drawn to it because I absolutely love dogs. I'm a dog person. I do enjoy my kitty, but I am first and foremost a dog person through and through. Do not stop, go. I just love dogs. So I just love this. It reminds me of dogs I've had in the past who did chase rabbits. The name of this piece is stitched right on the piece. The hound, let the hound and the hare go chase. I do not mind the words on this one. If you've watched my shows before, I do not enjoy words on samplers. It's just not my thing, but I don't mind these because, again, the hound, so beautiful. The only change I made is I eliminated the U from the alphabet because I wanted it to match up here. The hound, they spelled it the U with a V. So I took the U out and I added a 0. And I learned how to chart. I use Stitch Fiddle for my charts. I'm actually using Stitch Fiddle to design a knitting pattern right now, and it's pretty rad. I mean, I think it's like $30 a year, worth it, because yeah, I'm generating some nice charts from that. Anywho, so yeah, I recharted the alphabet, I think. I don't know. I know I recharted the word. This is these were Roman numerals, and I just decided not to use those, and I just put 2020 in, and I love it. It is stitched on. Picture this plus. I always forget the name. It's the one that looks different in every light. Ugh, sorry, I can't remember. It's a 32 count. I do not enjoy stitching on anything with 2 strands anymore. And it's so funny because my daughter Erin, that's all she does is 2 strands, and she absolutely loves it. So I'm slowly giving her all of my 28 count and 32 count because there's so many beautiful things to stitch that I don't need to stitch with 2 strands on 28 or 32. I will make an exception if I do a Mirabilia someday and I have Dark Queen of the Sea that I'm working on. I'll make an exception for her because she's very beautiful. But it's not my favorite. So anyway, this was stitched with 2 strands. And Jacob had it charted with red, and I did it with my own chosen colors. I wanted a fall palette, and I achieved that. You can see, look at my house. My house is a fall winter palette. We have browns and reds and deep greens in my house. And it's not, if I was to move, which I may someday, downsize, whatever, I would completely change my palette. But for now, this is my house. It's very warm, it's lovely, and I'm keeping it like this for the foreseeable future. And stitching looks great in this house. So I wanted to kind of do the whole fall palette. And yeah, it's DMC colors. Just DMC, beautiful. Actually, this is a Dicky Dye silk because I wanted to try silk. Again, I'm a huge fan of silk and would not use 2 strands because that's a lot of money. Silk is, an investment, and I don't want to use double that amount. So, yeah, but super happy. Love the frame. Paige will give you frame choices, and I love dark frames. And I don't generally prefer metallics, but in this case, I made an exception because I think it picks up the gold in the piece very well, and it looks beautiful in my living room, which is where it's living. But I think I would have liked this smaller. If you are a stitcher who likes to stitch on 36 or 40, this would be really cute on 40. I love modern folk embroidery. Oh, and okay, I'm a knitter. Look at all those cables. That's another thing that attracted me to this piece is all those beautiful cables. So, yes, that's an amazing one. All right. So, my works in progress. If you came back here to see my progress on Mary Morgan's, you're gonna die because I have to tell you, again, I don't have a lot of stitching time because I'm busy. My husband's like, "What are you doing? You're busy all the time." I'm like, "I know." So, let me take this stitch holder off here, or the needle holder off, because I want you to see this. Okay, are you ready? Look at this stunning piece. Oh my goodness. I am super close to a finish. I have been working on this piece since my birthday. It was my birthday start. My birthday is in January. January 16th, to be more accurate. You guys. This is stitched on Picture This Plus Murky with all the called for DMC. And Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. If you are watching this show, you actually inspired me with your Theresa pattern that you did in those darker colors on Murky. Your pattern's not out yet, and I can wait because I have so many things that I want to work on. I'm buying it immediately though when it comes out. I was like, I need to start something on Murky right now, and I thought, well, Mary Morgan's is really bright. So this is what I did. And Julie, thank you for your comment. I'm sorry you don't like the fabric you picked. And it's a big one to restart. Oh my god, this is a deceptive amount of stitching. Okay, so the focus piece of this piece. Look at this flower. Look, it is absolutely stunning. It's pretty much like a mini full coverage in the middle of this sampler. And I loved every second of it. I love block stitching. Oh my goodness. This is so fun. What wasn't so fun, I'm going to be honest with you, is this side. So this side mirrors this side, which is beautiful, but I was over it. Once I was done with that flower, I had to push myself to do this side, but I really want this finished. And this is pretty much, I've been stitching on this monogamously, pretty much. I have a couple more things that I've picked up and stitch on for a couple of days. I want to say I've been stitching on this almost every day since January. And I'm not mad about it because look how pretty. So, did I mention to you I hate border stitching? So the last part of border stitching I'm doing is this bottom part. Did it match up? No. So the first time I attempted, I was off by half a stitch, which drives me insane when I'm off a half a stitch. And on this fabric, 40 count, Picture This Plus Berkey, super tight. I measured this. This is supposed to be 40 count. This is like a 43 count. I measured. It's really tight. So, and then it's dark. Now I can see it because I use like really super, I use like a 6 magnifying glasses, bifocals. That's what I use to stitch. I can see it fine. However, sometimes it's hard because of just, the beautiful nature of the linen that Zweigert produces. It's not always even. So, first time, it was a fail. So I was off by half a stitch. And I couldn't really see how it was off, so I ripped it out. Second time, I was too far up. Now, I could have adjusted it, and I did, and I'm like, nope. I'm a ripper. I didn't do, obviously, I just did the line here. So I ripped it back again. And on this side, see where that emerald green is? I just added one more stitch to the bottom of this border, and then it met up fine. I would defy anyone, whether you knew this sampler well or not, to find that. It's a nice adjustment, very easy. It just took me a couple days. I haven't done a lot of ripping on this, no more than usual. But, so now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off this border. I'm going to put in her name and the words next to her name, which are probably where she lived in Wales. And then the cartouche goes here, and I do not like the cartouche. So I am eliminating it. And again, you know I don't like words on my samplers as a general rule. So I am putting in numbers. So using this, and she has a selection of numbers in the back, and I'm picking the fattest numbers I can. And I'm going to flash it for you. Just, you know, I'm picking these at the bottom, these big fat ones. I think that Mary would be fine with it, to be honest. And I'm going to do them in colorful floss. Probably all the colors that are in the sampler. So I did measure, I did count and sort of did some rough charting, measuring, and I'm still going to have some room on either side. So I'm going to add my initials and the date. I'll probably do the date over one so it's not obnoxious and like kind of a ghosty color. What color could I do? I'm doing it in purple because purple's my favorite color. So I'm going to do I'll probably do my name and my initials and the date in purple. The two different purples that are in this sampler that I love. The blue purple, which is these birds. I love that color. And then this reddish purple, that color. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see what looks good. So then I'm still going to have a little bit of room. So I might bring some of these birds down and just put one on each side. And then she will be complete, hopefully, by the next time I record. Hoping to, now that I have this set up, I'm hoping to get to it more often because it's actually easier to record down here because all my stuff is here. So, okay, that is Mary Morgan's. I don't know the date, but that's Mary Morgan's. Picture This Plus Murky 40 count with all the called for DMC, and here is the DMC. I ran out of the red purple. I don't have enough to do the rest of the border, but I got another skein, and I ran out of the gold, and I just went to Michael's and picked up some more of those colors. I think I picked up another color too. That's fine. It's DMC. I love DMC. So great to stitch with it. If you get it, so DMC, when you pull a thread, and I know this from the knitting world, that if you run it through your fingers, one way is smoother than the other way. I know that from being a spinner. I no longer spin yarn. I used to. I gave that up because I don't have time. But one side is smoother. So I just do that every time I pull a thread. I do that with silk too. Same principle. And make sure that the smooth side is going into your fabric. And I do get knots, but not that bad. I'm too lazy to untwist my stitches when I do. I should do that too. Stitching two-handed helps too. I stitch two-handed. And next recording, I'm hoping to show you how I do that. So, we'll see. Okay. Spent a lot of time on her, but she's worth it because she's gorgeous. All right, the next project. I don't have the flosses here. I'm just going to touch on this one. So this is Modern Folk Embroidery. This was kind of like a impulse start. I showed it to you before. And I stopped. Whoa, that is blown out. Okay, that's a little better. All right. This is beautiful. However, I changed some of the colors. I'm doing it in like these beautiful pinks. This is Sampler Peach that I did Winter Rose Manor with. And it's not showing up on this fabric at all. So I might restart it. In fact, I think I'm going to restart it on a different fabric because there's also this white here, and there's a big basket of white, and it doesn't show up. I even tried the bright white, the bright DMC white. So this I just haven't worked on at all. I tried substituting like this gray, but I don't, on this bird here for the white, and I don't like it. And this fabric is beautiful. This is sand. Picture this plus 40 count sand, and I absolutely love it. But I need something more vibrant on it. Or black, which is my favorite. So I don't know. So this is in timeout. Hibernation. Okay, another whip that I worked on is Ghoultide Welcome. This is on Picture This Plus Velt. And this side here, this left side, I am pretty much complete with the left-hand corner. And I started the house. I probably should do the house last because that's my favorite part of stitching a sampler. This border, I can't stand it. Big surprise. But it's fine. I'm trying to suffer through it. Do a little bit at a time. So I may just get some of that house done and then go on and do some of the motifs on this side. The good thing about the sampler is that the motifs on the right side of the sampler, they're different than this big motif. So it's not symmetrical, which is more fun to stitch because I don't love stitching it twice. But it's a beautiful, beautiful chart, and I love it. And these are the flosses. I store my flosses on whips in floss away bags wrapped on DMC bobbins. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about my floss storage in a minute. So my new start is Sarah Ann Fernley 1826 by Just Stitching Along. I purchased this chart from Kitten Stitcher. I have it in the paper chart. And Krista Kramer, thank you so very much, watched one of my shows a couple months back, and she gifted me the pattern in PDF because she knows I love stitching on PDFs. Thank you so much, Krista. I had to start this a couple of weeks ago. Thank you for your gift. I really appreciate it. This is the pattern, the chart, and it refers to the zodiac. It has a lot of over one, which I don't think I'm going to mind. I've stitched over one before, and as long as I don't have to rip it out, I'm fine with it. And I'm stitching it on 36 count. So here it is. It's a beautiful chart. Oh my goodness, Krista, gorgeous. And I absolutely love stitching in black. So here's my start. I mean, I think I got a pretty decent start on her. So pretty. So I have a story about her too. So I'm stitching this on 36 count sand because of the over one. And I will probably do full crosses on 36 count. But my go-to floss is NPI silks. And I started stitching it with NPI, and I did not love the coverage with NPI on 36. So far, I've only stitched with NPI on 40. And let me tell you, NPI on 40 count, chef's kiss. Fantastic. Just smooth. And the silk is, okay, here's my spinner, my spinning knowledge. NPI silk is more tightly spun than, say, Auvera Soie silk. And I'll tell you how I know that. Because I had heard that Auvera Soie silk is a little thicker and provides a little better coverage. So I ordered some, I ripped out the NPI on the 36 count because I wasn't crazy about it. I ordered some Auvera Soie silk in black, restarted it, and I love the coverage. I think it's fabulous. However, just so you know, if you're stitching with silk, if you're comparing silks, Auvera Soie silk is much looser spun because that's how you usually take, I think Auvera Soie is a 2-ply. I'm pretty sure that NPI is also a 2-ply for one strand. So they take the plies and spin them together, and that's what it gives you, integrity in your strand. So when I first pulled a strand for Auvera Soie, I accidentally pulled out one of the spun strands, which is very fine. And I was like, wow, this is really loosely spun. It's fine. Once I learned how to handle it, it's a little more delicate, I think. And you want to make sure you're not fraying it toward the end of your strand. So I might stop a little sooner with those silks than I do with NPI. Because they tend, I think, to fray just a little bit more than NPI. Now, I have stitched with Auvera Soie 103s. Those are a singles. Don't quote me. I'd have to get a spool and try to undo it and see. But they're very tightly spun. Very tightly. Even more tightly spun than NPI. And I love them. I think they're awesome. That's why you can go up to like 46 on those, because they have a lot of integrity. They almost feel cottony when you first start working with them, and then you get used to the feel. They're definitely a beautiful shiny silk. They have a beautiful sheen to them. So even though they're made by the same company, they're definitely spun in a different way. I didn't mean to go off on that today, but that's the story with the silk. So, but I'm very happy with how this Auvera Soie looks on 36 count. And I have some other projects to spin with Auvera Soie that are kitted with 36, and I will not mind that. So, yeah. So I am planning on working on this periodically, and I love her. She's beautiful. I'm actually looking forward to the over one. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the Markup RXP application that I have on my iPad. I talked a little bit about this in episode 19, I believe. So I do not stitch with paper patterns at all, ever, anymore. I use my phone. I'm a tech person. I just am. I'm an anomaly. First of all, I'm a woman. Second of all, I'm in my 60s, and I know all about the Apple tech. I'm an Apple-y tech girl, and I know a lot about it. If you have any questions, you can ask me. So I was thinking of getting an Android tablet, because I wanted to use Pattern Keeper. Then I read some things about it, and it didn't seem to be what I was really looking for. So I don't even know how I found this. Maybe a Google search. I don't know. I found Markup RXP. And here's what the app looks like. It's this little icon right here. And so I loaded up Mary Morgan's. And I'm going to show you Mary Morgan's because you won't be able to stitch from her at all. So this is the first project that I started on Markup RXP. It's Mary Morgan's. As you can see, I'm almost finished with her. So what's nice, what I love about this is when you mark it up, it'll just mark up the colors that you've selected. Okay. And the best thing about this app, the thing that it makes this worth it, it's a little bit of money. It's like nothing. It's like $7 a year. I don't know. Somebody like, don't tell the developer he's not charging enough for this app. Anyway, so the best thing about it is, so this is in full chart mode. So you can view a single page. So here it is, like in the, single page. But you can also view these charts in full page. So if I see, I can just stitch just like that. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? No page breaks. I can't stand page breaks. I haven't stitched long enough in my life, coming up on 3 years, to enjoy page breaks. I just don't. I make mistakes. I get confused. So this is magical to me. Now, Mary Morgan's came as a PDF and it fit right into this application, no problem. So I was trying to figure out how to load my other scanned chart. So I scan all my charts on I have a big ledger size flatbed scanner upstairs for my business. And I was trying to figure out how to manipulate those scans, because scans, when you scan, no matter how hard you try, it's not going to be perfect. And I talked about that a little bit in episode 19, and someone commented, if it's you, comment down below. I tried to find your comment, I couldn't find it. Someone commented down below that suggesting that I go on Facebook, which I'm not a Facebook user, not in any way, shape, or form. I have an account, but I'm never on it. But I joined the group, and the commenter said that there were videos on Facebook, and there were, but even better, I found that the developer has a YouTube channel with playlists explaining how to manipulate any chart. You could take a picture of a chart on your phone, and it could be as wonky as heck, and you can manipulate that chart. Okay. So I took a deep dive. I think I spent almost a week not stitching very much because I really wanted to master this. So this developer in his YouTube channel shows you how to manipulate your PDFs that are not really, and they're definitely not set up to work with this app, but you can set them up yourself to work with the app. It's a little bit of work. If you're a tinkerer, again, I'm a techie person. I'm a tinkerer. I will research things until I figure it out. And I figured a lot of this out, and I could not be happier. I have all my charts that I'm going to be working on in the next year or so in here. And a lot of them are scanned. Some of them are like 20 pages. Crazy. So, let's put my glasses on so I can see this better. I'm going to be starting a peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. This took me days. I scanned these charts into PDFs, into one document, and I loaded them in here. Now, you can enhance your chart with this app if you have a powerful machine. I have an M1 iPad Pro, and I was able to do that. This machine, this M1 can handle just about anything, and it's fast, because he'll warn you. He'll say, you know, if it might be slow if you load it up this way. I haven't had a problem. So I'm going to show you just this one. Here is, now this is a huge chart. So it's, okay, but look, the entire chart, I have to go a little slow. The entire chart, all stitched together, easy to stitch on. Look at that. Now, if you want to do this, you go to the tutorials. So basically, remember what I was telling you when you scan something, it doesn't always scan evenly. And if it's not scanned evenly, it won't stitch it together into one full chart easily. You'll have wonkiness, you'll have edges that don't match. But you're able to manipulate each page. This took me a long time because this is a 25-page chart and others are the same. So you can, it's almost like the equivalent, you know how and I used to do this, I would scan a chart and then cut it apart and then tape it together so they match nice. So you can do this right in the app, and he shows you how to do it. So you do this thing, I think he calls it freeform, and you just match all the corners until it straightens it out, and then you do other things that he recommends, and it comes out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I have Ann Morrison in here. I have Ghoultide in here. I loaded that in here. I loaded Florence Mary Dickenson in here. Sarah Ann Fernley's in here, which was fine. I didn't have to do anything to it. Modern Folk Embroidery, the Rosebush samplers in here. Jane Hopkins, that crazy one. It's huge. I started it, and I'm probably not going to work on her. Here's Jane Hopkins. You know her. Probably won't work on her for a while because I just finished that one with the big rose, and this one has lots of big roses, which I'm going to love stitching, but I just want to take a break from that kind of stitching for now. I figured it out, and I am over the moon in love with that app. It is exactly what I was looking for. So I never, ever have to stitch from a paper pattern with page breaks ever again. I'm sorry if you don't mind that. You're a better stitcher than me. So anyway, that's my long-winded story. Highly recommend Markup RXP. And you can stitch by page too. You don't have to stitch it together, and that works too. You can just scan one page and do that page. Oh, and the other thing you do have to add, it doesn't pick up your colors, but It has all the DMC colors in there, and you can add them manually, which takes time. But you know, do one a month. I mean, you're not going to stitch that fast. So that's what I did. I did a bunch because I wanted to learn, and now I'll just do them every once in a while. I have some I want to load in there. Some I'll talk about today. Okay, my summer stitching plans. Finish Mary Morgan's. I want her finished. Paige, she's coming at you because I want that to be done. I think the next thing I'm going to pick up is this absolute, and I show this every week, but this is Modern Folk Embroideries 2022 Stitch Along, and I'm almost done. So I want to finish this one. It's beautiful. Just going to go through these quickly. I want to work on Ghoultide. I would like to get a few stitches into Theresa Kogut's Come to the Garden because I love it. This one needs to go into Markup RXP. I haven't put her in there yet. So this is stitched on Picture This Plus Tycho, I think. I love the color match. It's really pretty. With all the called for 40 count. Pretty much stitching everything on 40 count. And then, oh, this one. This may jump to the, as soon as I finish with Mary Morgan, I'm finishing this one, because this won't take long. And Gott. I've had this on my stand. I don't know. I've been working on this for years. This is my third summer, I think, working on her. I need to rip this basket out because it's higher than this basket. So I need to rip that basket out. I need to figure out what I'm doing with the words up here because I'm not putting in a gift for you. And then I'm going to do some recharting at the bottom, and she'll be done. Look at this. It's beautiful. Another rose. I must be attracted to rose samplers. I love roses. Hello. I talked about this in my other show. My daughter sent me, Erin sent me 36 long stem roses for Mother's Day. She lives out of state. She got them on flowers.com, and she told me what she paid for. They were a deal. Let me tell 36 long stem roses. They were the most beautiful flowers I've ever had in my entire life. I felt like queen for the day. I was like, this is amazing. So that was amazing. Anyway, a little digression, and that is pretty much it out for plans. Hold on. Fall stitching. I will be starting on that very soon because I love fall stitching. I would like to work. I will not finish this year. This is Theresa Kogut's Happy Halloween. I love it. It is stitched on Schooner by LFA Linens and Treehouse Fiber Arts. So fun. I want more Schooner because I'm very tempted to get another fat quarter or half a yard of Schooner because I think I don't know the name of the sampler. It's the new one by Brenda Gervais. The name of the sampler that I want to stitch on this is Marianne Kopp. I'm in love. I'll put a picture. I love this sampler. I'm so tempted. I've hardly bought anything this year. I bought Sarah Ann Fernley, the Rosebush sampler, and what was the other one that I got? Ann Fernley, Rosebush Sampler. Oh, and Peacock and Unicorn. That was a big purchase. I want to do that Marianne Kopp on Schooner. And it will happen. Probably not this year. I think that would be beautiful on this like golden yellow. That's what I see it on. I'm very tempted to start that. We'll see how long I can hold out. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold out much longer, but that's okay. Okay, so speaking of haul, haul's the last thing I'm going to talk about this week. So I have a miraculous story. It's not miraculous. It's an interesting, funny story. So I'm in the car, hands-free. Get a phone call. Didn't recognize the number. And the woman on the other end said, "Hi." I think she was a little embarrassed. She said, like, "Hi, this is Ye Old Cross Stitchery in Bristol, Pennsylvania. You placed an order in 2021 for a fat half of Lakeside Vintage Autumn Gold. Do you still want it?" I was like, yeah, I would love it. Thank you. I knew I ordered this. I didn't remember from where. They don't charge you until they ship it. It's fine. And in the back of my mind, I knew I had ordered this fabric, but I didn't know where I ordered it from, and I didn't know when I ordered it from, but I ordered the fabric for 7 Sheep Sampler by Scarlet House, because that's the called for. So I said, so I wasn't in any rush to start that at the time, and I'm like, I just ordered it. It's 2021, 2 years. Lakeside's very tough to come by. So it took me a couple of phone calls to get back to her because I was driving and I couldn't whip out my credit card right then and there. Next day, I finally get a hold of her, and I said, "By the way, do you have any other colors of Lakeside?" So she looked through her cubbies, which was so sweet of her, and she found one that that she sold to me, plus a different dyer's fabric that I will also show to you. So here is Vintage Autumn Gold on 40 count. The colors of fabric today probably aren't as accurate as it usually is upstairs because I don't have my good lighting equipment down here. Not dragging that down here. But wait till you see this. It is warm. I have another piece of this in 36 count, and it's not as warm and vibrant as this. Look at this fabric. It's stunning. I have a fat half. It's beautiful. That looks pretty accurate. The sun's going in, so that looks better. It's gorgeous. So the called for fabric for this Scarlet House 7 Sheep Sampler is this fabric, which looks totally different than the picture, but that's okay. So I was thinking of starting this on a different toned, like a cooler fabric, and I was comparing flosses today. I'll show you next time what I thought I might start it on, but honestly, I put the floss on this, and I can see why she chose this, because it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm substituting an orange for the pink in this sampler, so it's going to be hard. These are not on floss drops yet, because I am not going to use floss drops for the silk, but you can get an idea, sort of. Sorry. This is beautiful. This palette is just gorgeous. And I'm thinking I might give this a start this summer. Because I've been wanting to stitch this for a long time. A couple years. And I was just, waiting for the right fabric, and now I have it. And I might even have a little extra left over. Because it's a big sampler. So you need a fat half, but I think I might have a lot left. So I was, needless to say, very excited to have gotten this. Lucky and excited. Love. Okay, so she sent me 2 more. Well, she sent me another Lakeside. This is 40 count maple sugar. Granted, not my favorite color tone. It's more of a brownish peach pink, but it's pretty, and I'll find something to put on it. And incidentally, I stitched Winter Rose Manor on this, and I wasn't sure which color, and now I know it was maple sugar. 36 count. So this is 40 count maple sugar. And this is 36 count. And this is beautiful. I love it. So I have a fat quarter of this. And something gorgeous will be on that at some point. Maybe a companion to Winter Rose Manor. We'll see. And I also got a fat half. I'm building up a collection of 40 count because I just love stitching on 40 count. So she had a fat half of 40 count R&R Mayflower Mocha, which is absolutely stunning. I'm thinking that I might want to restart the Rosebush sampler on that. My only drawback to that is that this is a fat half. And I don't know if I want to cut it. I think I'm going to regret it. If I cut this and I find something that I want to stitch on this, I don't know. I don't know. So, idea of what I might do. Here's another sampler that I brought down. It's a contender to start this summer, which is Live on Little by Plum Street. That calls for Fox and Rabbit hog bristle. This is a 36 count hog bristle. One of the first fabrics that I ever bought. But look, this is very similar to Mayflower Mocha. So I might use half of this for Live on Little and half of it for the Rosebush sampler because it's darker and I think the colors might show up better. I might do a little swatch, which is what we call things in the knitting world when we're trying them out. So I may just do a little sample of the flosses on those and see how it goes. All right, I've been talking for a very long time. I have a couple of questions that I wanted to answer that were in my comments from the last episode. And I have 2. I'm going to answer them quickly. So Suzanne Buenaventura 1743 from YouTube, cool name, asked me about silk floss. What's my favorite? And I talked about silk floss a lot in this episode, so I'm just going to answer it very quickly. My favorite is NPI. Because I just love how it feels on 40 count. I love how it looks on 40 count, love how it feels on 40 count. hands down, if I'm stitching with 40 count, it's either going to be 100 threes or NPI. She also asked me how I stored them, and what I would do, I'm going to show you a hank or a skein of NPI. If you get your silk, leave them on this until you start working with it, because that will keep it in its most preserved state. If you work with 100 threes, leave them on the spools. I do not put silk on floss drops because I'm just afraid they're going to fray. I haven't had a problem with the cottons. I love cottons on floss drops, but silk, no, because silk is delicate and it's expensive, so I want it pristine. So I leave them on the skeins until I'm ready. And then when I'm ready to start stitching, I just wrap them on the DMC spools and I stitch at my desk, and I have a placemat that's 18 inches exactly. So when I go to cut a length, I just put it on my placemat and draw it out to 18 inches, and I cut a piece, and then I'll just pull from that until I'm ready to cut the next piece. And I usually have them in floss away bags or little bags, and I just keep them nice and safe in there. And that is how I manage my silk. When I buy silk, I'm in the NPI club, which I love. When I buy silk, and that club, when it comes in a plastic bag, with the silk organized. I leave it in there. I don't take it out until I'm ready to use it. And that's how I store it, and it's working out really well. I mean, you saw so these are floss away bags. And I need 2 hanks of this color, so I put that in there. And then I write the number on it. I forgot to do that. I have an episode where I talked about that, and I got them all mixed up, but I figured it out. That took me a while. So I wrap it on these bobbins, and then I cut out the label from the pattern, paper pattern, taped it on there, and it's got the symbol on there. I'm very organized with this one, so I know what's what, and they're safe, and they're not pretty. This isn't pretty, but you keep your NPIs or silk, a Versois. If I was doing a Versois project, it would go in one of these. I have the 7 sheep sampler. This is all silk. And I think I'm going to spend this week. See, this one is even starting to get it's not getting frayed. It's just, it's got a little more of a halo than I want it to. So I'm going to get these wrapped on bobbins and store them in floss away bags so they're ready for me to stitch with. Here's a skein of Soie d'Alger. That is much looser spun than NPI. You cannot tell until you start working with it. So that's that answer. So I hope that you try silk. Try a small project, like just a marking sampler, and pick a black or a red or any color you like, and just try it, see if you like it. I love it. It's my favorite. Silks first, DMC, and then the overdyes. I don't mind. I like overdyes. They tend to knot a little bit more for me, depending on the brand. Weeks knots more for me than anything else, which other people have said. Okay, and this next question is, I think your username is Tensi the Needlesmith. She had a question for me about what I do when I stitch a reproduction sampler that has errors in it made by the original stitcher. usually children. And I haven't stitched that many, to be honest. I'm just getting going for it, getting in there. If I find a this one, Mary Morgan's, this little girl, her border was not even at all. That's what drove me crazy about the sampler. And Fox and Rabbit, beautiful charting, does not warn you. Now, Hands Across the Sea has warnings everywhere. Warning, be careful. So you have to really make sure you count with reproductions. Oh, this is a much better representation of the colors. So pretty. So anyway, some of these have, the pattern should have 10 in each vine here. 10, 4, 10, 4, 10, 4. Some of them have 9. Some of them have 11. And I did count every one. However, this morning, when I was stitching this bottom, I taught myself to go back and count, and one back was supposed to be 10. I had put 11 in, because apparently I can't count. So, to answer your question, I generally, if it has nothing to do with words or whatever, I will stitch the sampler as the girl stitched it. When it comes to cartouches and quotes and sayings, I've been eliminating them, and it's fine. It's my sampler. Nichol will tell you that. Do whatever you want. And so if it's a saying I don't like, or if it's a saying at all, I'll take it out and put something else there. And I don't have a problem with it. If it was, you asked if it was asymmetrical, if it was supposed to be looking this way on this side and it's wonky on that side, I would leave it. Because I think it's cool. It's, it's part of their quirks. So I guess my answer to your question is, it depends on what it is in the sampler. I had to make adjustments in the border on this one, as I told you. Just take a look at her again, because I love her. Okay, that was my last question. I have a sore throat. I need an iced tea. So, I'm going to let you guys go. This should be a nice long episode for you. I didn't think I'd have enough to talk about, but apparently I was wrong. Okay, with that, I hope you have a nice couple of weeks. I'm hoping to get back recording this summer a little bit more. Stitch something beautiful. If you have any questions, put them in the comment box down below. And cheers!